There is a moment in the rainforest when survival is decided not by strength, but by stillness. Deep within the shadows of a slow-moving jungle stream, two birds move like ghosts through a world that is constantly watching them. Luma and Sol, they are Sunbittern's masters of camouflage. Every feather on their bodies mimics the textures of stone, bark, and shadow. But today camouflage is not enough, because they are searching for something far more dangerous than food. They are searching for a place to build a future. The stream beneath them is alive, not just with flowing water, but with predators. Above, hawks glide silently between shafts of light. Below, unseen shapes drift beneath the surface. Every step Luma takes is measured. Every pause from Sol is deliberate, because one mistake here means the end before life even begins. Then, a shadow passes overhead. Both birds freeze instantly. No movement, no sound. Only the faint ripple of water continues beneath them. The hawk circles, scanning, searching for the smallest sign of life. But there is nothing. Only rocks. Only shadows. And the illusion holds. When the danger fades, they move again. And then they find it. A branch suspended above the current, unstable, exposed, dangerous but perfect, because danger is exactly what keeps predators away. Below the branch, a silent hunter glides through the water. A snakehead fish, massive, patient, waiting. The stream is not protection, it is a second battlefield, and still, they begin to build, twig by twig, fiber by fiber, a fragile structure suspended between life and death. Sol moves quickly, gathering materials, returning again and again. Luma shapes the nest with precision, pressing it into form with her body. Every movement is urgent, because in the rainforest time is never on your side. Then a new danger emerges. Claws scrape against bark, a monitor lizard. It climbs slowly, deliberately, drawn by instinct. Eggs. Chick's opportunity. Luma reacts instantly. Her wings explode open suddenly. She is no longer invisible. She is something else. Something unnatural. Eyes appear where there were none. Patterns flash like a warning. A deception designed to confuse, to intimidate, to survive. The lizard hesitates. Sol circles, striking from the side. Fast, precise, relentless. For a moment, the balance shifts, and then, the predator retreats. But this is only the beginning. Because the nest is now complete, and with it, comes vulnerability. The first egg appears, small, fragile, motionless. Yet inside it, is everything. Luma settles over it, her body becoming both shield and warmth. Sol stands guard, always watching, always listening. Time begins to stretch. Days pass in silence. Sunlight shifts through the canopy. Rain comes, wind follows, but Luma does not move, because survival begins with patience. Then the forest changes, a ripple below. The snakehead returns, circling, waiting above. The shadow of the hawk passes again. Two worlds of danger, closing in on a single point, and still, the egg remains, until one day it moves. A tremor, a crack, a life pushing against the boundary of its own beginning. The shell breaks, and from it emerges Ember. Small, wet, fragile, a creature not yet ready for the world it has entered, but the world is already watching. Before Ember can even stand, the sky darkens again. The hawk returns, faster this time, more aggressive. Sol launches upward, a direct interception, a collision in midair. Feathers explode into motion, wings clash. The hawk veers off, but not far, never far. Below, Luma covers the nest completely. Ember disappears beneath her. Hidden, silent, alive, the forest holds its breath, and then, the predator is gone for now. But the danger does not end, because a second egg begins to tremble. Blaze is born into chaos. Two lives now, balanced on a single branch above a river of death. Days pass, the chicks grow, stronger, more aware, but still, completely vulnerable. And then, the wind rises. The branch shakes violently, the nest shifts, Ember slips, falls, time slows, the air rushes past. And then, impact, the water explodes, the current grabs hold instantly. Ember struggles, too small, too weak. Below, the snakehead strikes, Sol crashes into the water, violence, chaos. Wings beating against the surface, creating confusion, creating noise, creating a chance. The predator lunges, misses, barely. Ember drifts, until roots, a grip, a hold, life hanging by a thread. Luma enters the water, carefully, precisely. Every step measured against the current. The snakehead circles again, closer this time. Then, the strike. But Sol disrupts it again. A burst of water, a wall of motion, and in that single moment, Luma moves. Grabs Ember, lifts, escapes, survival by milliseconds, but above, the danger has never left. Blaze is alone. The monitor lizard returns, closer than ever. Sol sees it, launches, no hesitation. Luma arrives moments later. Wings spread wide again. The illusion returns, the threat becomes something greater than itself. But this time, the predator does not hesitate and attacks. The branch shakes violently. Tail strikes, jaws snap. Sol dives again and again, targeting the head, relentless, precise. Luma advances, step by step, driving the predator back. The balance shifts. Again and finally, the lizard retreats, defeated for now. Silence returns, but it is no longer calm. It is exhaustion. Days pass. The chicks grow stronger. Their movements become steadier. Their bodies change. From helpless to capable, they begin to explore. The edge of the nest, the branches beyond, the space between falling and flying, and then a new predator, a snake, silent, climbing, closing the distance. Soul detects it first. Dives, attacks. Luma blocks the path. The branch becomes a battlefield. The snake strikes, misses. Strikes again. Feathers collide with scales. Motion becomes chaos. Ember slips, almost falls, catches itself. The fight continues, until finally, the snake retreats, and for the first time, the chicks survive on their own terms. They begin to learn balance, movement, control. Then, the first glide, short, unstable, but real. Then another, longer, better, stronger, until one day they leap, without hesitation, and this time, they do not fall. But the forest is never finished. The hawk returns, faster than ever, more precise. Luma rises, wings expand, the illusion perfect. Soul strikes from the side, a collision in the air. A fight for seconds, and then the hawk retreats, because now, these are no longer chicks, they are survivors. The final test comes quietly, a glide over water, a shadow below, the snakehead lunges, but this time, they rise, stronger, faster, free, and as the sun rises over the stream, Ember and Blaze leave the branch behind. No longer hidden, no longer protected, but alive. 90 days ago, they were nothing more than fragile shells. Now, they are part of the forest itself, and in a world where everything is hunting, and everything is hunted, that is the only victory that matters. Survival. Survival does not end the moment wings leave the nest. It simply transforms into something far more complex, far more unforgiving. The forest begins to open around them. The narrow stream they once knew now stretches wider, its surface reflecting broken fragments of light that pierce through the canopy above. For the first time in their short existence, Ember and Blaze are no longer confined to the fragile safety of a single branch suspended above danger. Now they are visible, and in the rainforest, visibility is vulnerability. They land awkwardly on a low branch near the edge of the water. Their wings tremble not from fear alone, but from exhaustion, from effort, from the strain of a body not yet perfected for flight. Their breathing is heavy, uneven, because flight is not mastery, not yet it is struggle. From a distance, Luma watches. Soul remains perched above, silent. Neither of them moves closer, neither of them intervenes. Because this moment is inevitable. The moment when protection must give way to absence. In the wild, there is a point where parents must step back. Not because the danger has passed, but because it never will. And so now, the forest becomes their teacher. Ember is the first to move, slowly, carefully, each step placed with deliberate hesitation, testing the bark beneath its claws as if the branch itself could betray it. Every surface is unfamiliar, every motion, a decision between balance and collapse. Blaze follows, but not in the same way. Where Ember hesitates, Blaze commits, more impulsive, more willing to risk instability. Already the difference between them begins to emerge. Two paths, two instincts, both shaped by the same world, yet responding to it differently. Below them, the stream continues its endless movement, but now, it is no longer just part of the environment. It is something else entirely. A memory, a threat, a presence that does not need to be seen, to be understood, a faint distortion beneath the surface. A shadow that shifts against the current. The snakehead, it does not reveal itself fully. It does not need to, because the memory of its strike has already been etched into instinct. But this time, it does not attack. And slowly, curiosity begins to return. Ember lowers its head, cautiously peering toward the water below. Watching the surface bend light into unfamiliar shapes. Watching the current twist and pull at everything within it. Watching a world it nearly became part of. Then a flicker. A small insect touches the surface, disturbing the perfect tension of water. Blaze reacts instantly. A sharp, unrefined strike missed. But it doesn't matter because failure is part of the process. This is the beginning of something new. No longer waiting, no longer receiving. Now they must take. Luma descends, briefly, silently. Not to feed them, not to rescue them, but to show them. A precise movement, a sudden, controlled strike, a freshwater shrimp captured in a fraction of a second. She holds it, just long enough, then releases it, back into the stream. A lesson, not survival through protection, but survival through understanding. Blaze tries again, closer this time, more controlled, still imperfect. Ember watches, analyzes, learns, without acting. Time passes differently now, not in days, not in hours, but in attempts, in failures, in small adjustments that slowly become instinct, and gradually, they begin to succeed. A successful strike, a captured insect, a moment of control, tiny victories that carry enormous meaning. But the forest never allows growth. Without resistance, a subtle shift moves through the canopy. The insects fall silent. The air changes, an ancient signal. The hawk returns, but this time it is different. There is no circling, No searching, no hesitation, it has already seen them. Not as shadows, not as illusions, but as movement. And in the wild, movement is everything. The dive is immediate, violent, explosive blaze freezes. Completely. Instinct locking its body into stillness, Ember reacts differently, drops, without thinking, without hesitation. The hawk adjusts mid-air, its wings slicing through air with surgical precision. Adapting, closing the distance, and then, something else enters the equation. Luma. She rises not in panic, but in perfect timing. Her wings open again, but now, closer, sharper, more directed. The illusion is no longer passive. It is weaponized. The hawk hesitates, just for a fraction of a second, and that is enough. Soul strikes upward from below. A collision of speed and force. Feathers scatter into the air. The space itself seems to fracture. The hawk pulls away, not defeated, but denied, and for the first time, Ember and Blaze are not simply protected. They are participants. They moved. They chose. They survived. The forest shifts again. Rain begins to fall. Not gentle, not forgiving. Heavy drops break through the canopy, striking leaves, branches, water, everything. The stream swells, the current accelerates, the world becomes unstable. Branches shift beneath their weight. Perches disappear, safe ground dissolves. Everything they have learned is tested again. Blaze attempts another glide. The wind shifts unpredictably. Rain strikes mid-flight. The landing falters, a slip, a near fall, but not into the water. A recovery barely controlled. Ember watches, processes, waits, then chooses differently. A lower path. A shorter glide, a safer option. Two strategies, two minds adapting, because survival is not one path. It is variation. Night falls, and for the first time, they do not return to the same branch. They roost separately. No longer beneath Luma's wings, no longer within reach of Soul alone. The forest transforms in darkness. Sounds deepen, movements slow, but become more deliberate. Predators change, eyes emerge where none were visible before. But Ember remains still, perfectly still, and in that stillness, it disappears, not through instinct alone, but through learning, through memory, through survival. Morning returns, and something has changed. Confidence. Flights become longer, more controlled, more intentional. They begin to follow the stream, not randomly, but with direction, exploring, mapping, understanding. Luma and Soul remain behind, distant now, watching, but no longer guiding, because this is the final stage, not survival, independence, and then, without warning, the final test, a violent surge beneath the water, a sudden strike, the snakehead. But this time, the response is different. Blaze reacts early, anticipates, moves before the danger fully emerges. Ember follows, not late, but in perfect timing. Two movements, one instinct. They rise together, clear the surface. Escape, no chaos, no panic, only instinct, refined, earned. And as the forest begins to open ahead, they do not look back, because behind them is no longer safety. It is origin. Ahead is everything. The stream stretches forward into light. The canopy thins. The air expands.